Superdrol. Why in the world is Seth Spartan saying that this is the king, the absolute king, baby, of anabolic steroids? Well, and guys, I'm sorry, I'm not going to stop flexing. The reason that it's the king is this. Superdrol, unlike every other oral steroid, and even unlike most steroids on this planet, Superdrol does everything. It does absolutely everything, baby.
You move mountains, kid. You move mountains, kid.
Yay, what's going on, guys? Boom and kaboom. Guys, we're back. It's time to talk about the king, the absolute king of anabolic steroids, oral anabolic steroids to be specific. So guys, you're gonna hear some crazy stuff in today's video that you're not gonna hear anywhere else. We're gonna be talking about the science. We're gonna be talking about how to, in specific, reduce liver toxicity with Superdrol, because it needs to be talked about, and you can use this for other anabolic steroids. Guys, stay tuned. You're gonna hear some crazy stuff that you're not gonna hear anywhere else. Having said that, I am not your doctor. Do everything safely, legally, under doctor supervision, no matter what country you live in. Guys, let's get started. So what we're gonna do here, guys, today is doing a quick take on Superdrol, continuing this series, baby. Having said that, we're gonna talk about the science real quick. Two things regarding the science and the medical literature. From there, we're gonna move on into what everybody is here for, what everyone wants to know. How does this play out in the real world for muscle mass, fat loss, strength gains, and also wrapping up with sides and negatives. I'm gonna try to keep this shorter, keep it a real quick take, but if we run a little over, it'll be for good reason. Guys, Seth Spartan, let's dive into it. But first, if you guys want the best testosterone replacement clinic in the nation, we're talking performance dosages of TRT, top 1% of the range, go to my clinic, the Human Performance Clinic. And if you guys want the best peptides, Pure Raws and Peptide Pro for the best SARMs and peptides. Codes for links and coupon codes are in the comments. Guys, let's move into Superdrol. Baby, here we go. Whew. Oh man, got a good lift in today at the gym. Let's get started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. What do you want to know? What do you need to know with Superdrol? The first thing is diving into the science first before we get into the real world. Superdrol, we are talking a big fat 400, guys. 400 straight anabolic components. So 400 anabolic to only 20, that's right, 20 androgenic. And this is important because this rating is pretty much dead on, spot on, across the board. Most people are going to agree with that. Not like Anavar. We talked about Anavar, gave you guys, already did a quick take on that. And even though the rating is a 476 based on the latest information we have on Anavar, some people get amazing gains from it in terms of muscle mass and even strength, and some people get very little. Of course, I would also chalk that up to, again, most Anavar being fake unless you're getting it directly from the pharmacy. But we can always take into account individual genetic variation. Some people respond great to one thing, some people not so much. Having said that, popping back to Superdrol, baby. 400 anabolic, 20 androgenic. Huge, huge in terms of compound. We'll get into the real world and if this plays out in just a second. Second piece of scientific information and medical information we're gonna bring in here is, yep guys, Superdrol, just like Anavar, Anadrol, Winstrol, and you name the rest. Superdrol is, yes, a DHT derivative compound. It is a DHT derivative anabolic steroid. Remember, we have testosterone derivatives, we have DHT derivatives, and we have 19 derivative anabolic steroids, each carrying with them a different set or a different stack of general properties and effects with that. So being a DHT derivative compound, we can already assume and can clearly know that this is going to be also a wicked fat burner. DHTs are extremely potent at burning body fat, and Superdrol is none exception. Having said that, baby, let's move into what you guys are all here for, which is what? How does Superdrol play out in the real world? And I'm going to get into why and tell you guys why now also. Superdrol is the absolute king. It is the king of oral anabolic steroids. Why? You'll see in just a second. Muscle mass. How is Superdrol in comparison to everything else for muscle mass? If we're talking sheer muscle mass, just at normal dosages, extremely good for muscle mass. Remember that 400 we talked about? Some people are going to get way more gain than that 400, and some people will be falling around there. But in terms of muscle mass, Superdrol is amazing for muscle mass if taken correctly, better than pretty much any other anabolic, except if you're getting real Anavar from the pharmacy, milligram per milligram. I would argue, I've taken pharmaceutical grade both, I would argue that I got slightly better gains from Anavar, but some people would argue against that. Having said that, Superdrol is the king for muscle mass, extreme muscle mass, period, okay? And I'll tell you guys this, much better than Anadrol for muscle mass. We'll talk about that later. Moving into what? Fat loss. How is Superdrol for fat loss? Well, I already spilled the beans on this already. It lives up to its hype, okay? Being a DHT derivative class, it's already at an advantage in terms of fat loss. If we compare this milligram per milligram to some of the other DHT derivatives, Anavar, Anadrol, Winstrol, the list goes on. How does Superdrol stack up? Amazing. Extreme fat loss if used correctly with Superdrol. And this effect is even greater, exacerbated with using, obviously, human growth hormone or any other human growth hormone releaser, okay? Again, you can get this stuff legally through my clinic, or you guys can go and do whatever you want, all right, depending where you live. Having said that, let's move into what? Strength now, baby. Strength with Superdrol. How's the strength with Superdrol? I'm not lying when I say it is insane. Superdrol, yes, lives up to its hype. It is super at strength. Compared to Anadrol, better. better strength with Superdrol. And this is coming from somebody that has loved Anadrol in the past, okay? But strength with Superdrol, extreme strength. Milligram per milligram blows Anadrol out of the water. However, big however here, guys. However, you can use Anadrol at much higher dosages than Superdrol in terms of what liver toxicity. And because of that, people can take 100 milligrams of Anadrol a day. All right, I know people that have taken crazy dosages, and even the medical research we have on Anadrol, people have taken up to 150 for periods of time without having liver toxicity. Am I advising that? No, not at all. But having said that, milligram per milligram, Superdrol blows Anadrol out of the water for strength. It is a strong, potent, dry, hard compound, and the strength gains are unrelentless on Superdrol. Having said that, if you're going to be a crazy power lifter and you're trying to set world records, you're going to want to go with Anadrol. Why? Because you get the big water weight increase, which will also drive up strength. And also you can take it at way higher dosages. Am I advising that? No, of course not. Again, do everything safe, legally, under doctor supervision. But having said that, if you're trying to make a weight class, Superdrol is going to be, well, a very powerful, wonderful option add-on. All right, in terms of powerlifting and, mainly powerlifting and other things that have weight classes. All right, guys, well, let's wrap this thing up. Before we get into the sides and negatives, I want to spoil the beans on this. Superdrol, baby. Superdrol. Why in the world is Seth Spartan saying that this is the king, the absolute king, baby, of anabolic steroids? Well, and guys, I'm sorry, I'm not going to stop flexing. The reason that it's the king is this. Superdrol, unlike every other oral steroid, and even unlike most steroids on this planet, Superdrol does everything. It does absolutely everything, baby. What am I talking about? Superdrol for muscle mass, extreme muscle mass. Superdrol for fat loss, extreme fat loss. Superdrol for strength, extreme strength. Superdrol, I don't have a section for it, but Superdrol for extreme hardness, dry, grainy, look like Winstrol, and hardness. And cutting, contest prep, cutting, shows, pulling out sub-Q. Superdrol is great for all of it. Superdrol literally does everything. Muscle mass, fat loss, strength, a hardening agent to get hard, dry, grainy look like Winstrol. Also for contest prep. What doesn't Superdrol do? It does everything. So, it's the king, and rightly so. Superdrol is the king of oral anabolic steroids. Should you take a ton of this stuff? No. But having said that, before we get into the sides and negatives, while this actually fits into it, there's one big trick, one big hack in terms of reducing liver toxicity with Superdrol and also with every other anabolic steroid. What I've noticed is instead of taking your tablet, again, do everything safely, legally, under doctor's supervision, depending where you live. But what I have noticed, again, I had scripts for, Anavar, Dianabol, list goes on. Having real stuff, all right? Having said that, what I've noticed is instead of taking your tablet, either with food, without food, let's say you're taking 10 milligrams of Superdrol, or this could be applied to any other oral anabolic steroid. But let's say you're taking, we'll just take 10 milligrams Superdrol, right? Let's say you're taking Superdrol, 10 milligram tablet. Instead of just popping the tablet with or without food, what you're gonna do is this. You're gonna grab a shaker bottle. My shaker's probably upstairs. You're gonna grab a shaker bottle, right? A regular protein blender bottle. You're gonna fill it 12 ounces of water. You're gonna throw that 10 milligram tablet in. Shake, shake, shake a couple times. And if it doesn't, break apart and dissolve, give it a minute. Shake, shake, shake. Otherwise, just shake it until it fully dissolves. And then what you're gonna do is when it's fully separated and the parts that can dissolve, once it's all broken up, you could do this with a caffeine tablet too if you don't know what I'm talking about. But you throw that in there, shake, shake, shake until it's fully broken up, dissolved. If you need to let it sit for a minute, do that. But you shake that thing up, it's fully dissolved. You chug it down in one go. Guess what? Not only does it hit you crazy hard, fast, maximum absorption, we're talking pre-workout, bang, baby. Not only does it hit you amazing, but it also, by taking it like this, it absolutely is a huge pro for liver toxicity. It is much easier on your liver. It's broken up, and the water helps get it past that first pass through the liver. So if you want to take this or any other anabolic the best way, and also get this huge spike, like huge pre-workout bang, do this method I'm talking about. Use 12 ounces of water in a shaker, shake, shake, shake until dissolved, fully broken up, bang it down. Again, if you need to set it on the counter and let it, chill for a minute to break up more, do that. But guys, that's the absolute best way to take oral anabolics. Or if you're doing testosterone replacement, you get an oral anabolic prescribed this way. Great way to do it. Guys, set Spartan, stay safe, stay healthy. That's, guess what? Superdrol, baby. Quick take. We're out.